Thank you for watching the most profitable show in crypto history. Stop everything that you're doing. Now it's crypto time. Welcome to the Crypto Villas Show.
Hello guys, welcome to Crypto Villa channel. I'm Crypto Villa speaking directly from Brazil in order to make you guys know the news in crypto. Well, today is a very special day. I'm going to interview George, the CEO of RELITE Finance. So let's call him here. Let's call him. Hey George, how are you doing?
Hey,
Thanks
good
for
to
coming.
see you, mate. Good introduction. I like the opening, Crypto Villa. Fancy.
Thank you so much. And I have my first question to you, George. Well, right now, to be honest, I'm really tired of using Nexo, Crypto.com, Swissborg in order to get yields. Because in general, it's so easy to deposit your money there. But it's hard when you really want to withdraw your money. You have to prove that the money is yours and this kind of thing. Also, when using decentralized services like Ava or Compound, in general, it's so hard to use. They don't have a good user interface, and it's very complicated, even for the people who are inside the crypto space, right? So I'd like to know if you can help me, if RELITE can help me, and what RELITE is about. Can you do a small introduction, please?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm George again, CEO and founder of RELITE Finance. RELITE Finance basically is a cross-chain lending platform powered by Polkadot. So the main idea that you mentioned before is that we really want to change how people lend and borrow. First of all, if you start with the UX, I totally agree with you. The UX at the moment in most of the mentioned big players is not that sufficient. Also, if you talk about centralized exchanges like Nexo, etc., over there you have a lot of custodial problems and a lot of KYC issues that users are facing. So in RELITE, of course, we want to make lending and borrowing decentralized, and people could be lend and borrow all assets, including Polkadot, Ethereum, and in the future, Bitcoin. So that's kind of our primary goal. And if I come back to the UX, I think the biggest things we need to solve here in general, and also with RELITE, is really to explain to people how much they pay when they get liquidated and how much is they're risking. So these kind of things have to be communicated effectively to the user. And only then we can have a much more educated user base and people who get what to do with DeFi in general. So that's kind of in a nutshell.
Nice. And you just mentioned, but you are going to build the RELITE in Polkadot ecosystem, right? I think you are building your own parachain, correct if I'm wrong. And so I will be able to deposit, for example, the Bitcoin, the native assets, and get a loan, for example, in a ERC20 token.
So I need to clear out some things here first. Actually, in the beginning, we thought that we want to become like a parachain. Now this is not on the table because we think that it's much more easier to work with partners in that regard. So that's why we'll have partners who will be providing the bridges to particular chains. So if you take, for instance, the Ethereum chain, and then you take a bridge that connects to the RELITE chain, that kind of bridge is provided by a parachain. So this is how we communicate basically Ethereum with Polkadot, right? And if you take Bitcoin, then there will be somebody else who provides a bridge, and then we connect that bridge to basically, again, Bitcoin and Polkadot. So yeah, in the future, respectively, you can, collateralize an ETH position and take a DOT out as an asset. So yeah, that's kind of the ideal case. This, of course, needs a lot of time and a lot of preparation and testing. But essentially, if everything's okay with rolling out the auctions for the parachains and the bridges development and things like that, then I think we will be able soon to have really that kind of cross-chain liquidity that we're talking about in the DeFi space for a long time.
Okay, nice. The next question, it's about an issue that we have today. For example, how can you guys solve the issue of over-collateralized assets that we have today? Because this is a problem, right now.
Correct. Well, if we talk about over-collateralization at the moment in the market, you have like what, about 150 to 100% or something.
Yeah.
But it all comes down to a very simple fact. What is the loan to value, right? So let's say in most of the famous lending platforms, loan to value is about 65%. What does it mean? It means that you need to add a lot of collateral to get like 65% against your loan. So that's a problem. Why do you do it? Well, because the liquidation threshold is high. And then B, you never know what's going to happen to the price. So that's why you want to be safe on the safe side when you collateralize your crypto, your volatile crypto, right? In RELITE, the thing what we need to, when we are addressing is the loan to value. So basically in RELITE, you will get like 75 to 80% loan to value. And this is achieved because we have a certain amount of reserve pools who mitigates the risk. Meaning when there's lower risk, that means that your position will not get liquidated that fast. And that means also that you can also be more sure and you can like stake more and then basically get more also as a better collateralization ratio. And the reserve pool essentially works like again, like a safety mechanism, which is triggered when there's a sharp drop in the price. And when there's a sharp drop in the price, some of the assets which are going to be the government's RELITE token will be released in order to mitigate and not take the risk or like kind of de-risk the positions of other users. And when the market stabilizes, we get back those rallies in the pool and the system stabilizes. So this is like this kind of mechanism in which, of course, together with a smarter pool utilization, much more better rates in that regard, you can get like a better collateral for essentially for users.
Okay, my next question would be about the reserve funds, but you just talked.
Yeah, basically it's really how it works. Like it's formed again by RELITE tokens. Also, another good feature of the reserve fund is that you can come as a staker and basically you provide RELITE there. You get, of course, you earn as well a part of the revenue from the protocol itself as well when you stake RELITE. But then you also enable basically much more safer environment in the protocol and much better terms for all of the participants. So yeah, it's a very interesting concept. We really like it, and I think we can build more strategies around it. Why not also opening reserve pools in other assets? Could be like stablecoin or some volatile assets, and kind of mix basket of assets is also there on the table as an option. But yeah, a lot of things could be developed in that regard.
Okay. And coming back a little about the UX, just to the people understand better, are you building a UX so simple, like for example Nexo platform or other centralized platform, but in a decentralized way, right? And are you guys going to have a mobile app also?
Yeah, basically not very at the very beginning to have a mobile app, but for sure we'll have a mobile app. So basically the whole concept as well, also when you have a desktop experience, is to kind of be mobile first and mobile friendly first. So touch screens and kind of things, kind of finger friendly design is always there on the table. But yeah, essentially, as soon as you connect your wallet to the protocol, things are going to be much easier than they used to be, and it will always have also a guidance along the process as well, and also a bit more breakdown of what is happening exactly when you submit a particular asset and how's the API calculated and things like that. So very needed when you kind of onboard new people. And on part of that, we will also, of course, invest a lot of time in education. So bringing people a bit more about DeFi in general and how to calculate risk, how to use different kind of wallets and things like that in that regard. So there are many kind of good things that are in the whole UX that actually can make it like a full kind of package to a good experience for the users.
Okay. And I just saw that you guys are going to accept NFT as collateral, right? How this is going to work exactly?
Yeah, thanks. It's a big question that a lot of people are asking us as well all the time. So there are two things about the NFT collateral in general. So in the real world, at the moment, if you have like, let's say, a Picasso painting, and you go to a bank, there will be some specialists who will be definitely putting a quote based on some kind of a historical price or some kind of a market value price based on other specialists, right? And there's always something benchmark that you can take. And when there's a benchmark, there's always a quote, and then respectively you'll get also a value or loan to value percentage and respectively a loan. With the NFT collateral thing, it should work the same, but the things we need to be kind of aware is the oracles, right? So the oracles of that pricing discovery is they're not still there, although people are building it. So what we're going to do is basically we're going to have like we're going to analyze the historical data of the price of the NFTs, and then with help with analytics and predictive analytics with integrations with OpenSea and Rarible, we can then get a much more realistic quote on that NFT, because nobody can just say, yeah, my NFT costs 200 Ethereum. Yes, but there are like circumstances in which we know that that NFT could be actually sold for that money, correct?
Sure.
So if we know that, then we know that there is a liquidity for that asset. And when that's done, then integrating that this kind of historical data, predictable data analytics, integrations with OpenSea and Rarible, then we can say like a particular quote, and then we said, okay, against your 200 Ethereum NFT, we can give you, let's say, 100 worth of Ethereum, 100 Ethereum against it, and then people can then proceed with the loan. And the idea is really to work kind of seamlessly and really with kind of an out of the box things, not to be any human intervention whatsoever there.
Sure. And still talking about NFT, right now there is
a
contest, right?
Yeah. Great.
How it works?
Yeah, pretty cool. Yeah, we actually have like several kind of contests around the NFTs. So we have like super nice. We minted six NFTs together with our friends from Square Capital. A big shout out for them. So basically, we have like one legendary, one rare, and the rest are like regular. All of them super cool. So the idea there that the first one there is a Telegram contest, which is like basically for referring a friend. Two winners there, and also there's kind of a community hero as well, Telegram award, which is for the ones who want to participate in the community, help out each other, and be identify fraud and things like that. And on Twitter, we have like a parallel one, which is about putting like a bit of more, let's say, story to the NFT, like writing a nice tagline, or actually putting a bit of more thoughts like what RELITE can bring to the DeFi space. And there is a tag, RELITE NFT contest. So yeah, I suggest you check it out. It's quite engaging and cool. And also the NFT will give you a bit of a location of RELITE, and also and the future in the platform can be used. So pretty awesome stuff.
So that's good, because my audience in general always ask about getting the IDO, so you can earn it, right? Some allocation at IDO price. So that's very, very good. And just advice for the audience here. You can let your comments, you can drop your comments anytime, but I'm going to ask George just by the end of the stream, okay? Come back here, George. When the beta or the first version of the app is going to be released?
We got to ask a lot. So
or MVP?
MVP will be June, July, something in that time frame. You will have like already the pools open, and maybe a bit earlier we'll have also more like a traditional stable pool lending type pool. And afterwards, of course, if everything's okay with the parachains and the bridges are working and everything's tested, because we're going to pass our second audit, then we can be aiming for July for launching the MVP. So yeah, that's kind of the time frame. Of course, development takes time. So
yeah, but I'm really looking forward for this, because I really wanna use it.
Yeah, man. And we all of us want.
Yes. And right now, today, how many people are working on RELITE?
Sure. So we are originally like 5 founders. So all of us practically will work full time. And then we have like marketers with us, 2 more people actively managing the process. And then we have a lot of influencers on board as well. But maybe about core people is about 10 people-ish, so compliance team, UI team, developers. So yeah, and I think we're gonna grow 2 times in the next month as well, because we're gonna hire also more developers and people who could help us a bit with strategy. We have a very cool advisory team, Oren Depp, Kyle Chase, Marko Pilic, Professor D, so really, really nice guys.
Okay, nice. Now a question about the market as a whole. I would question if you have any competitor, but I think you have, right? Just like Ava or Compound. And I'd like to ask, why do you think RELITE is going to be a better option?
Yeah, so we see, of course, the kind of indirect maybe competitors in that regards, Ava and Compound. But again, how we tackle the competition is basically offering cross-chain liquidity, so different assets, one protocol, and then unique pool utilization and the reserve fund, so better collateral, and then finally better fees, and really tackle the Polkadot ecosystem with those and other projects in the Polkadot system, and then engaging those users of that Polkadot system to use RELITE. And I think one more thing, of course, is the NFT collateral, which will be also a very big game changer in that regard.
Okay.
So yeah, we have a lot of weapons in that light. For I mean, we like them. We like Compound and Ava; they're very good. But I think they have also their issues with the monolithic structure of their code. And if they want to do cross-chain liquidity, it will be harder and harder. They have, too big pools, too much centralization of capital there. So yeah, things have to change.
Okay, some questions that most of the CEO in general don't like to say too much. It's about token economics, but I have to do it. And the first one is okay. Can you talk a little about the token economics, the use cases, and the other things in general?
So RELI in general is essentially it's a government's token, right? So you can really take it as a token and really decide on the platform what's going to happen in the future, what integration are needed, any kind of particular decisions on pool utilization. So this is kind of very needed, I think, for the future of RELITE, and that's why we want to bring it as a central point. Then second, RELITE is also a way to get liquidity mining also. So lenders and borrowers will also get RELITE token distributed to them. And then finally, you can also stake RELI in the reserve pool. So also a utility that helps also set the safety and bringing the safety of the protocol. So yeah, that's kind of in a nutshell what is the RELI utility in general.
Okay, my next question would be about the governance, but you already answered.
Mhm.
So let's to the next one. The next one, it is, I don't know if you have these numbers right now, but what will be the initial market cap and the hard cap? Do you know?
Yes, I do.
More or less.
So basically, about like we wrote also in the Medium article recently about our redenomination. So 700, about 700K will be this kind of initial market. That will be it. And of course, from that point on, we can take it up.
Sure. And about the hard cap, you know?
Yeah. Just give me a second.
No problem.
I'll take it up from there, and a lot of information as well are at the moment bypassing my head, so I don't remember that.
It's okay.
All the things. By the way, you should check also the company updates that we have as well on our Medium. So yeah, like I said, the initial market cap about 700K, initial circulation supply about 14 million release. Total diluted cap will be about 8 million. Yeah, hard cap, if you asked, is $1.5 million.
1.5. That's so low. That's good.
Yeah. Well, we also didn't want to raise too much money. This was also part of the strategy here. We wanted to be like, the money that we need for the building the product. Basically engage communities around it and then take it from there. I think that's like much more healthier, and also distributing as well smaller tickets to investors is much more better, and you can get like more investors on board, more know-how, and it's very different times from what was in 2017 versus when people raised 100 millions and then they realized what I'm going to do with it. So yeah.
Exactly. That's a good change from the last bull market to this one, right?
Yeah.
And how about the tokens of the team? Are they locked? For how long?
Yes, so the team tokens will be locked. So that's like 12-month lock, and then there's a 12-month vesting afterwards. The tokens for the private investors they have also a vesting period of 12 months. Good.
How about the IDO? When and where it's gonna be held?
Yeah, it's a big thing. So finally we have the date. May 17th, mark your calendar, Monday. So will be the ideal ignition. Very, very oversubscribed. A lot of people there, close to 10,000 people submitted chance to get the location. So follow the stream of information on our Twitter or Telegram, RELITE Finance Official in Telegram. And you can actually get like really chance to see but May 17 is the ideal, and we're really happy also to work with Ignition and guys from Paid, because they really brought us a lot of contacts, a lot of know-how, support in every aspect, from marketing to brand building to content. So really, really across the board, a lot of help, and I'm happy that we are actually doing this with them as well. Very, very good one.
That's good. And how about the SEX, the centralized exchange listing? Do you have something in mind, some negotiation going on?
Yeah, I cannot tell a lot of things here, but yeah, we do. So we have a serious discussion with one tier 2 and one tier 1 exchange at the moment. I think it will be a very, very smooth and nice launch with the Uniswap pools on May 17th, and then afterwards we can take it to SEX. And I'm not a real fan of centralized exchanges anyway, but yeah, I think that's if the community is eager to have it also on such kind of platform, why not? So we need to address that need as well, right?
Exactly. I'm not a big fan either, but Some people only buy there, so
yeah, but not your keys.
Exactly.
That's the problem.
That's one reason why I'm bullish on RELITE, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And the last question of mine is, do you guys have some KPIs or goals that you can share? For example, I don't know, about the total value locked or volume borrowed or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So in terms of the MVP, as I told you, we are aiming for June, July. That will have like Ethereum, stablecoin asset pool, and probably DOT as well. Then afterwards, in further on, opening more pools in Q3, NFT collateral. Then of course, passing the audits, partnerships also with BSC and Solana is also in the works. And then further on the route, fixed term pools, more maturity contracts kind of approach to the pools, and full interoperability. So yeah, these are kind of the milestones of RELITE at the moment. Yeah, otherwise in TVL, I cannot speculate because it's kind of tricky to say at the moment, like what are the benchmarks of TVL, because that also changes quite fast in the space at the moment. But it's gonna be in the north of 100 millions for sure.
Oh, that's good. And so I'm going to roll out another small video right here, and then we come back for questions and answer.
Cool. All right.
Like this video, subscribe to Crypto Villa's channel, and click on the bell button in order to turn on your notifications. Also, don't forget to follow him on Twitter. That's the only way to get notified earlier, so you can take advantage of this. Information is power. Early information is profit.
So we have many questions here.
Really nice one with the golden.
Thank you.
You almost wait that there will be a Lambo after the curtain, but there is a Crypto Villa show there.
Yeah. Thank you. And we have many questions from Forza. Thank you so much for coming, Forza. And let's speak some of them. The first one, RELITE markets themselves as a cross-chain lending solution. What's the long-term vision in terms of supported platforms?
Well, like I said, like apart from Polkadot, of course we are definitely in discussion with BSC, Solana, and other popular kind of chains. We need to be working with that interoperability factor because, again, in the DeFi space, you have a lot of liquidity which is like defragmented, right? So this is a problem, and we need to work on that part as well. Again, Polkadot is a central focal point because it also allows us to bring those bridges, and then to work with the other chains around it. So this is kind of the long-term vision. So the long-term vision is really kind of merge those kind of chains, and really you should be not feeling like that you are on Polkadot, Ethereum, on BSC in the future. So that's the goal and idea.
Okay, and another question from Forza. Complex transactions often involve high fees. Ethereum fees are currently out of control, as we know, right? How will RELITE ensure less complex operation and trust lower fees?
Yeah, it's a big question. We understand that. Of course, there's two aspects of it. Like when we have Polkadot already implemented, and when the transactions actually happen already with smart contracts interacting on the Polkadot, then you actually will not pay those kind of fees. So we expect like maybe 90 to 95% lower fees when you actually interact with smart contracts. That happens, of course, when you have all the parts of your system mostly in Polkadot, right? But at the beginning, yeah, of course, there will be some a bit more higher fees, because it's needed to interact with some of the smart contracts which are holding at the moment on Ethereum. But that's something we cannot avoid. The other aspect, of course, is the upcoming London Ethereum upgrade, and I think this will change as well a lot of things in the I hope so, and I think it's gonna change, of course, a lot of the aspects of the gas and how gas is distributed and things like that. So it is a big problem at the moment, but it can be mitigated. And the more also layer 2 solutions are coming away with Polygon, XDAI, I think it's gonna be much easier to actually really interact, cheaper between Ethereum, Polkadot contracts and back, right?
So are you guys taking consideration maybe use a layer 2 solution?
It's considerable. It's considerable,
Okay.
of course. Yeah.
Okay. And another question from Forza. Can you please advise what is meant by fixed and no fixed APY pools? In layman's terms, please, is this basically fixed and variable rate lending and borrowing?
No, actually, the fixed API or like kind of this is more like in the term of the so-called fixed term funds, right? This is where actually the yield curve exponentially goes like sharp, and this is that's like in the part of the money market protocols like others. And when you go like in the fixed term, then the curve actually becomes like more flat. Mm-hmm. And this is like you enter like a much more predictable APY. So yeah, these are kind of the two philosophies that we need to distinguish. So one is the money markets, and the other ones are the kind of the fixed pools, right? And they are like more conservative. And I think we can build the products which kind of combine those two type of pools.
That's good. And anyone can choose, right? Which pool?
Yeah, well, yeah, technically, of course, you have now like let's say like a non-variable API in Aave or something, but it's actually also variable. It just like takes down so it's like that, and then they just cut off the upper band and lower band, and then in the curve. So actually you get like a more like predictable and more like stable API, but it's still kind of volatile.
Okay, so another question, good one. Securities paramount for lending platforms. Has an audit been completed? If not, is this on the roadmap?
Yeah, the first one is completed. Good question with Cerdic. So this was, and the second one is also in the works with the rest of the major smart contracts. But also in terms of security, we have a lot of advisors actually from Estonia, and I can tell you these people know about security because the NATO cybersecurity shield is in Tallinn, and so we have people who know how to build robust products. And also another aspect that we're going to launch also a very big bounty program, so white hat hackers could try out and see like the protocol's capability.
Okay. Not a question, it's a comment from CMG. Mobile app would be great. Yes, yeah, I agree.
I know.
And just one more question here from Forza. Please speak about RELITE's roadmap post-launch. What are RELITE's vision for the future?
Well, yeah, like I said, like opening the new pools on the Polkadot ecosystem, working with community in the Polkadot, then the NFT collateral, and then the full interoperability aspect really is the aim for the future. And the future in general has to be, again, like I said, using Ethereum or DOT or Bitcoin has to be very seamlessly done in the platform, and you will not feel it that you connected already your wallets, and that's it. Like from the rest, it has to be like very seamless. Also, of course, in near-term partnerships coming up with analytical platforms, which will help us analyze the process, and the pre-insurance protocol also is taking on board with us. As I said, Sexes is also there. So Yeah.
That's good. That's good. And just a comment from Forza, super informative.
Thank you, Forza.
Yes, thank you. It was. And I think you are arrived at the end of the stream. I'd like to thank you, George, so much for coming here.
Do please, thanks for having me. Of course, do please check RELITE Check us on Twitter, RELITE Finance, RELITE Finance Official, also on Telegram, IDO on 17th of May. We look forward for the great launch, and really, really happy that you give me the time a bit to speak about the product and engage with your community.
Thank you so much for coming. And maybe next month, not next month, sorry, but next months later, maybe we can do another interview after the platform goes live, and we can discuss other things, right?
Absolutely. I would love to come.
So
awesome.
Thank you so much, George.
And cheers and bye-bye. Cheers.
And guys, don't forget, tomorrow, 2 p.m. UTC time, I'm gonna to come back here for my daily show, okay? Thank you so much for coming, guys.